fans and experts criticized first-round selection, Jones led the G-men to an 18-point comeback win, their first of the season. Despite Jones' stellar debut, there was some bad news in the form of Saquon Barkley's ankle injury. A source told our Adam Schefter that the star running back could miss between 4 to 8 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Marcus Spears still here with us. Max, I'm looking at you. With both of these headlines, should the Giants be optimistic about this season?
About this season?
Yeah, Jones, but Saquon's hurt.
No. No, I mean, unfortunately, it looks like they could have a win on the schedule this week, but no. Look, the big news, and that's great for the Giants, is they have a quarterback. I don't care about the rest. Like, going into this season, if you told me season's a wash, but you got a franchise quarterback. As a Giants fan, I'm good. In fact, maybe in the long run, the best thing that happens to Saquon is this injury, high ankle sprain. By the way, if it's 4 to 8 weeks, I better not see him back before 8 weeks. Like, good. Avoid wear and tear on a meaningless season. There is no reason to be optimistic about what's going to. They shouldn't. Look, the Bucs are not good, and they should have lost to the Bucs. It's not like they won it. The Bucs lost that game. Daniel Jones is going to have growing pains. He won't look as good as he did, that first game for the rest of the year. But he's got talent. I believe in him. I'm happy with him. The Giants have no pass rush. They can't cover anyone down the field. They don't have any receivers. They have a ridiculous all-world, all-time running back and a franchise quarterback. By the way, they got a tight end, too. I'll take it moving forward, but this year ain't doing nothing.
Well, first of all, I think you're wrong. And the reason why I think you're wrong is because we all know that the Giants are not going to win this year, so we're not measuring them by that litmus test, by that standard. What we're seeing this season is about two things. Preserving the long-term health of a Saquon Barkley, because he has already established himself as that stud, and discovering and cultivating and nurturing the growth of a Daniel Jones. Well, certainly Saquon with him there would help. But in the end, with Saquon out, with him being devoid of the necessary expectations that most veteran quarterbacks have, particularly on a team that has a chance. Daniel Jones right now, Marcus, is sitting in the epitome, or is drenched in the epitome of house money. He can't lose. They don't expect you to win. Plus, you're a rookie playing for Pat Shurmur, because I'm sick and tired of everybody acting like this, man. Listen, Pat Shurmur, I'm not going to talk about him the way I had to talk about John J. Gruden. But let me be very, very clear. Pat Shurmur should have never had that damn Giants job, only because I didn't see any kind of resume that warranted him being the coach of New York. And think about it for a second as an aside. This is New York City, media capital of the world, the Mecca. And our two coaches are Adam Gase and Pat Shurmur.
Whoa.
I don't understand. But that's a different subject for another day. I'll get your pen in a second. All I'm trying to say is this, y'all. I'm looking at Daniel Jones, and I'm like, okay, Sterling Shepard showed up for you. Evan Ingram showed up for you. You've got some weapons. The offensive line, as you highlighted, has improved. So even though you don't have Saquon Barkley, that forces us to pass more, which means it's more repetition for you. How much are you working through your progressions? Are you reading defenses appropriately? Are you flinging that football? Is your velocity there? All of these things that you're doing without Saquon Barkley, if you pull it off, with any degree of success, win or lose, imagine what people are going to be about once Saquon comes back. That's why I say yes to this question. I think there's reason for optimism.
All right, everybody can fly off the handle, and let me contextualize what I was saying about Daniel Jones being better than what Baker Mayfield is.
Stop right there. You said that?
Yeah.
When?
This morning.
On Get Up? Oh, Get Up? You said that Daniel Jones, repeat it for the national audience.
Better than Baker Mayfield, and I'm going to contextualize.
Go ahead.
Okay? Because the formula for success, Daniel Jones emulates more than Baker Mayfield does. All right?
Formula for success?
The formula to success of being an NFL quarterback. Okay. Daniel Jones emanates that better at this point than Baker Mayfield does. Okay. Now, let me give you my reasoning, right? I'm a big proponent of guys that process fast. Daniel Jones has proven he can process fast, because that doesn't have anything to do with the competition. Mm-hmm. That means how fast you're seeing things happen on the field and what you need to do in order to get rid of the football. The second thing is, when you look at the success rate of quarterbacks in the vein that Daniel Jones is in, he's along the same lines of the guys that we've seen have a tremendous amount of success, plus having a little bit of athletic ability to go along with his ability from the pocket.
More than a little.
This is why I wasn't high on Daniel Jones, and I had to really go back and say to myself, why was this guy thought of like it's because he played at Duke. right? And I kind of disbarred the fact that he played for Cutcliffe in college, who has been one of the best quarterback producers in the history of football when you look at
Manning
the guys.
family, yeah.
That as well. So all of these things that I'm talking about is my future view of what Daniel Jones can be based on what he did in the preseason and in his game. This has nothing to do with the defenses he's faced.
Mm-hmm.
This has everything to do with what I've seen success look like in the NFL.
I have a question.
Yep.
Not debating it. Not qualified to debate that point. Here's my point. Tampa switched from their regular Tampa 2 to the 3-4 under Bowles. Obviously going to blitz you all day long. I would like to know, as an NFL player, how complicated is that to figure out? Because what I'm saying to you is that all I have, in my opinion, I'm sorry, but I'm not paying attention to the good performance against Cincinnati in the preseason. Even though that was against a first unit team, I'm not paying attention to that. I'm going to pay attention to the regular season. And the only evidence that we have is him against Tampa, who's playing your 3-4, who you know is going to blitz all day long. I'm asking you, how complicated is that to figure out and see based on what Bowles threw at him? Because that tells me a lot.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because Todd Bowles was coaching on the staff in Dallas when I was there. Very difficult. And it's zone pressures. So the issue is you can be playing man on one side, zone on the other side. Here's what people don't understand. We look at Pat Mahomes' no-look passes, his ability to throw the ball downfield, but we very rarely talk about how fast he processes and understands where to go with the football. Right? This is a part of quarterbacking that makes you elite. It ain't the athletic ability, the ability to scramble and all of that. The part that makes you elite as a quarterback is how fast do you see the picture and do you get the ball there before your receiver gets there.
The arm strength is a prerequisite, but the most important thing is how fast you process information.
Yeah, but I thought this at both of y'all. Just a question. When you say that, and I'll go to you first, Max. When you say that, here's my thing. Is he processing? Or is he so great, I'm talking about Mahomes here, is he so great a passer of the football that he's decisive about where he's going because he's confident he can get it there before the defender? You see what I'm saying?
We see him, no doubt, it feeds into each other. We see him improving too, and he's got the play call design and everything. I want to get back to the Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield comparison. Look, Baker Mayfield, a lot of what he has is based on for me, he's interchangeable with some guys. He's not the tallest, that kind of stuff. Not the fastest, not the best arm. But for me, in those situations like he was against L.A., end of the game, I expect him to make that play to send it to overtime. When I see him bail on the play and not process the information, that's a big hit to me for Baker Mayfield because that's the dude I expect him to be. Daniel Jones, one game and in the preseason, looks like he's processing information quickly. But here's the difference as this season progresses. We've talked off camera about like quadruplets, right? You look at Kansas City, Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, and when he had Kareem Hunt and Travis Kelce. Daniel Jones has Saquon Barkley, and Evan Ingram can fly. He's a great pass catcher, right? He does not have the top receiver. In fact, he had it in Odell Beckham Jr. Could you imagine Odell, Saquon, and Evan Ingram with a quarterback? No, but you know who does have Odell now? Baker Mayfield. And as this season progresses, we're going to see, my prediction is Baker and Odell do some special.
What's the biggest thing Baker needs that Daniel Jones has for you to come out with this hot take after one game?
Daniel, first of all, this is looking ahead, Molly. People need to understand that this is not a gut reaction to him beating Tampa. Right? I'm the biggest pause keeper on quarterbacks being deemed.
I don't know if you're bigger than that than me, but go ahead.
But I know what it looks like. I've been around the game long enough to know. Look, I was out on this kid. Like I'm the first to say and say I was out watching him in his bowl game against Temple. He looked terrible. And everybody can go back and tell you about that film. But with that being said, the things that he's doing has nothing to do with who he's playing against. And that's what separates quarterbacks.
Okay. I don't know if I agree with that part. We'll see. Next week is Washington. But then after that, it's Minnesota and New England. I don't know. Let's see.
All right.
Okay. Troy Aikman tweeting at Showtime Mahomes. You don't want to miss what he has to say.
I respect the content.
That debate up next on First Take.
Drives me.